This is yesterday's makeup. Some of y'all saw me do this face live yesterday and I did not wash my face. I piled on my skincare this morning right on top of it and I wore this face all day. And I'm proud of it. I don't care what anybody has to say about it because when your makeup is comprised of ingredients that read like skincare, jojoba oil, argan oil, camellia oil, shea butter, like there's nothing that really needs to be removed. So we're gonna go right over this with some skincare prep, and then we are gonna just put makeup on it and we're gonna glam it up a little bit because we're going live tonight from 7 to 9 Central Standard Time, and we're just gonna talk about girl stuff and who knows where we're going to go with this, but we're going to do our little podcast special. So join us tonight if you can, but I need to get ready for it so I look put together. So let's just start with some skin prep. I'm going to go right on top of this with our hydrating spray. Our full skincare line is about to launch. It's not here yet, but parts of it are coming as soon as tomorrow, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Go right on top. So we hydrate first with a water that has so many ingredients that your skin loves and wants to drink up. Regular water won't do the trick because you've got a bouncer outside your cell wall that says we don't want your fluoride and chlorine and heavy metals in here. So regular water doesn't work. It has to be pure. And if you're going to let it in, you might as well pack it with as many antioxidants as you can. Then you go in with a moisturizer. It doesn't have to be ours, but you should try layering hydration like this, okay? Watery substance, moisturizer, or the lotiony stuff, right? Without petroleum in it or formaldehyde. And then on top of that, you do a face oil. It doesn't have to be ours. Of course, it's not because it's not even available yet, but you can use argan oil, you can use camellia oil, jojoba oil, olive oil, any oil that you like. It's the principles that are important. It's filling up the cells with water, then giving them the antioxidants, and then giving the oil that protects the skin barrier and keeps all that hydration in and protects against transepidermal water loss. Really well hydrated skin is going to look bouncier. You're going to feel like once you finally get there that you have just, somebody's been lying to you your whole life. They have. They've been telling you that moisturizers and oils will hydrate your skin, and they can't. You need all three of these steps. And before you do all three of these steps, you really have to have really good exfoliation. So if you haven't used our exfoliating method that I talk about a lot, you can email me in my contact form in my bio, and I can send you my list, which has the link to the videos in it that talks about all the right ways to exfoliate and how you can use stuff like right in your pantry to do that, to kind of test the theory before you go spend any money. See if I'm right before you go and spend any money. I can pretty much guarantee you, unless you're already exfoliating really well and you know what that means and all the different ways, you know what the difference between a chemical exfoliator and a physical exfoliator, and you know, you can give me a list of what all those things are. If you can't do that, if you've been using a scrub once a month, it's time to level up. Okay, so we got some foundation on. I'm gonna go get a little bit more of that redness out of my nose. Just one more swipe. I'm gonna do a little bit more foundation than I usually do because I would consider this camera work. So the purpose of this makeup is not to be in person in front of people, but on camera. And you can always just go a little heavier when that's the case. Okay, now we're gonna highlight with our lightest concealer. If you're not familiar with the Science of Pretty brand, we have a universal foundation that works on every skin tone when you blend it and customize it with this light concealer and this dark concealer. So depending, I happen to be the exact shade of the foundation itself. But you can add a little bit of brightener to it. You can add a little bit of darkener to it. and it works for everyone. And I discovered this over a 25-year career as a professional makeup artist, where I found myself using the exact same products all the time. And I was like, why don't people know this? Why don't they know that customizing your foundation is a much smarter way to go than walking into a store and trying to pick the right shade out of 72? It's so much easier to just blend it yourself. Takes a couple of tries, you gotta practice a little bit, but it's relatively simple. And when you're using cream makeups instead of the silicone makeups that are oh so popular, it's gonna change your life and probably your skin too. I'm gonna set quickly under my eyes with our cool matte powder, and then we're gonna put on a little bit of bronzer, but this is gonna keep us nice and clean under the eyes. It also acts as a filter and makes it look super smooth. It gets rid of wrinkles and texture and just makes everything look so good. This might be my favorite product. Okay, and if you didn't see, we announced a new product. We have a bronzer now that's in this amazing dispenser brush. It's so easy to use. It's for lighter skin for sure. It's not gonna work on every skin tone like our set does, but it's perfect for those of you with a paler complexion who really just want something that's a little bit easier to utilize. And if you're just kind of afraid of this dark concealer, which it's a little scary, I have to admit. But this is actually what I put on my eyes. I used it as my crease color yesterday and it's still there. So now that little bit of bronzer, this is not listed yet in our TikTok shop, but it should be coming like tonight or tomorrow. Blush, we know that the lip gloss is my favorite blush. So we're gonna pop that right on to the cheeks. And then I may go over it with something just a little punchier just because it is camera makeup instead of face-to-face makeup. I feel like we can get away with just a little bit more, but look at that glow and sheen. That's what you want. Lip gloss or blush, sorry, is really more of a, should be thought of more as a highlighter than a color that really goes on your face. It should give you glow. Let's pop some more color on there and see what happens. Yes. And then I'll take my Siren brush and just kind of blend that in. That gets rid of any edges that you might have had that you didn't want. Just that tiny little bit. You see that little bit of shine? It's a pretty sparkly one. That one's on my list if you want to know what it is, but I can't say it here because I don't have a deal with them. I'm going to beef up my eyebrows a little bit also. I feel like a pencil is the fastest way to go back in and clean up eyebrows, but I did use our Science of Pretty Blonde brow powder yesterday. And so just having a pencil at hand to do a quick touch-up job is really nice. Those are some full B cup brows there. The brows are the boobs of the face, and you can make them whatever cup size you want. These, I would say, are definitely just a B. I did some D cups the other day and everybody loved them, but I don't know. They scare me a little bit. Okay, there we go. Brows are done. Now let's do some makeup on the bottom of the eyes. Okay, so for some bottom color on my eyes, I'm just gonna touch, I have the cap loosened. I'm gonna touch the tiniest little bit and then touch it to my hand because it's still scary. And we're gonna just darken right on top of the bottom lashes, letting it get a little bit on the inside membrane and a little bit below. Okay, so added a little bit of mascara to that and then the bronze shadow on the bottom. It's kind of maybe hard to see, but you can just see that little bit of shine in there. And this is a smoky eye that I really recommend for beginners and those of you that are afraid of a smoky eye. So doing the black on top and keeping everything really nice and dark right at your upper lash line is scary enough. And I really like it clean underneath. But when you want to add the smoky element for an evening look, I like to go about 50% lighter shade than what is on the top. So with black on the top, I want to go with a medium brown on the bottom, and our dark concealer works great in place of a shadow and lasts a lot longer. It has fantastic ingredients, etc. So it was an easy choice for me, and that gives me my it's kind of my smoky eye. And I'll just do a couple of little tricks to kind of boost things a little bit and just show you some little eye makeup pro tips that I've been using for years. I would call this like the icing on the cake. These are things that, you know, you don't necessarily do them every day, but when you do, they make a big difference. So I'm going to use just a light highlight shadow right there. Do you see that? How it brought so much light to that weird little corner right there? Nobody really knows what that's called.